What's good, y'all? Elvis here. So I remember a few years ago, I was talking to one of my aunts, and she was asking me about how school was going and this and that. At the time, I went to North Carolina A&T State University for chemical engineering. And I was talking about how engineering is cool, but I was cutting hair seriously in college. So I was like, man, I'm thinking about taking this barber route. Immediately, she's like, you want to be just a barber? Anybody can be a barber. And of course, that shit was frustrating to hear. She didn't see what my dream was for me. You just immediately reduced it down to just a barber. Even with that logic, that's some weak logic. Nobody is just the title that they go by. Even somebody who's a cashier is not just a cashier. There's somebody much bigger than a cashier that's in a cashier's role. Even if you decide to be the president, you're more than just the president. And that just kind of showed me like, oh, you don't really believe in yourself and your ability past what people call you. And so that's just what's reflected in me. So now I don't do the arguing with people about what my title is or what the prestige of my job should be, this and that. Because people used to give me a lot of props for, oh, you're doing the chemical engineering thing, and because it's hard. The logic of anybody can be a barber applies to anything. Anybody can be an engineer. It doesn't mean that you're good at your job, though. Identifying with what you do versus being competent are two different things. And they're kind of unrelated because what you consider competent is a reflection of what you value. Most people consider a great barber to be someone who just does decent haircuts. But what most people define as a barber, I call a hair cutter, because that's somebody who just cuts your hair. A barber is more than that. It's a confidant, community leader. It's somebody that builds a connection with you that transcends the transaction. And there's phenomenal barbers at every kind of price point, because everybody decide differently what they get paid through. I thought I'd be done barbering before my cuts got to $50. That happened a lot quicker than I thought. Now people pay me way more than $50. But the thing that pays me isn't even so much the money, it's the kind of people I'm around, the interaction. Because I done got enough money to where more money doesn't make my eyes sparkle. Higher level connection between people, higher level collaborating and co-creating makes my eyes sparkle. So if somebody can pay me a lot of money but not connect to me, I'd rather you not be my client. I'm gonna be honest. Not because I dislike them or this and that. I just know the kind of clients you accept are the kind of clients you replicate. So if I'm okay with having a bunch of clients that just want a haircut, don't give a fuck about me, or people that might like my haircut but don't respect my time, I'm just going to attract more clients like those because those people have friends and they tend to recommend their friends. But even bigger than that, just being accustomed to this kind of interaction, when I come across somebody who has a similar respect for my time, I'm going to be comfortable there. I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm used to this. So there's a smaller chance of me separating from some shit that's not for me because I got accustomed to it. Now I'm at a point where I'm talking to barbers, I'm talking about, oh, I want to be a consultant, teacher, educator, all this and that. And they giving me the same look that my aunt gave me. Oh, like, you want to do that? Like, why don't you want to be a barber? Why don't you want to cut hair, make more money? And it's like, y'all don't even understand because first off, I'd say the average teacher might make less than a barber, but the average barber don't make more than an engineer. I've touched engineer money cutting hair. You know what I'm saying? Anything that I love enough, I'll put the work in to grow and do what I need to do to get the result that I want. So it's not worth me listening to other people. But of course I had to learn that lesson from listening to a bunch of people, realizing they don't even know shit about their own life. How they gonna dictate some shit in my life? You feel me? People doing better never have the time to hate. Now I'm in a season where I feel like I get paid a lot more through my interactions with people, whether I'm teaching or cutting hair, than the money people put in my pocket. So now I really want to maximize that in my life. I don't want to tell people I'm retiring from being a barber because last time I did that, my phone got blown up for a week. But barbering is so beautiful, it's so versatile. It could be your main chick, it could be your side chick. You can mold it to fit any space in your life. But the space that you allow to have usually dictates what is going to be, like what is going to bring you in your life. If you make a lot of room for it, and barber takes up a lot of space in your life, it's going to be a thing that's going to be providing for a lot of your needs. It can be financially, spiritual, social, you know what I'm saying? Barbering, I think, can fill all kinds of human needs, depending on who you are and what you need. But the needs that you get through barbering, you can get through damn near infinite avenues too. A lot of what I'm getting through teaching right now, I used to feel that spark with cutting hair. And that spark that I felt when I picked up the clippers, it just transferred to, let's say, the interactions I was having with people. And then that kind of moved to starting to teach and consult and whatnot. I started realizing like the spark that I felt when I first picked up clippers just migrated over here. But it wasn't necessarily the clippers that sparked me. It might have been the catalyst, but there's this like creative passion that I had that went from just the haircutting to the interaction to now it's teaching. But teaching, I'm learning is its own craft of just co-learning with somebody. I'm learning just as much as I'm teaching at any given moment, because whoever's in front of me has a whole different set of experience and perspective. They have a different goal than I do. And I learned so much through their journey, but also I learned so much through the contrast of our separate journeys. If sometimes I got game to give, sometimes I'm here getting game for the most part. But either way, I'm always growing. And that's the thing that's really feeding me. It's something that I also get through barbering, but it's not exclusive to me doing haircuts with people. When I'm at my old barber school on Tuesdays, like, I get that spark. You know what I'm saying? When clients sit in my chair, I get that spark. Not so much about the haircut, but more the interaction. When I'm at the shop with my coworkers, I get that spark. When I'm with my friends, I get that spark. When I talk to God, I get that spark. And it's not so much the activity anymore. So I'm not really retiring, but I'm moving into a different stage of my career where, like, barbering, like as far as cutting behind a chair, that's not so much, that doesn't have as much place in my life now. I'm super sparked about being an educator and learning alongside a whole lot of people. So like going forward, I'm not even gonna be advertising haircuts so much. More than anything, I'm really advertising consultations. If you feel like talking to me will make you a better barber, tap in with me. Number one option I recommend, book a haircut. That's the easiest way to get me. So on this new educator consultant path, I'm gonna be really focusing on what I call the college of better barbering. I'm tired of talking to barbers and the main appeal of barbering to them is money. Like, I personally can't relate to that. I knew money was an aspect that was gonna benefit me, but it's like, I went to school for chemical engineering. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was gonna get to some money regardless. I cared more about establishing a certain kind of freedom for myself. And first, my idea of freedom was financial freedom. But now past that, it's time freedom, energy freedom, freedom to put my attention where I want it to go. And along the journey to get to what that is, I learned how to create value, attract money, and a bunch of other things. So if you think talking to me will make you a better barber, number one, I recommend booking an appointment. If you're in my city, that's the simplest way to get me. Reserve some time. Even if you don't want a haircut, we can talk. My plan is to create an educational platform with all the most practical game that I use to become what I consider a better barber, better person overall. Better barbering is effectively self-improvement through the craft of barbering. So all the game that I learned self-improvement through this craft, I'm putting it on there. That includes all my courses I created. That includes my Better Barbering series of like damn near 60 episodes. I'll be answering personal questions that y'all have. I'm dropping a pretty comprehensive ebook about better barbering. And it's all up there for a suspiciously low monthly price. Like, I'm talking about suspiciously low. For the value that I'm bringing, bro, it's suspicious. But past that, if you feel like talking to me will make you a better barber, if you in the city, bro, stop by the shop. I deal with an appointment because otherwise there's no guarantee that I'll be there unless I'm doing walk-ins or something. If your location schedule don't work and you can't come see me, book an online consultation. I'll see any way that I can be of service. It's been a long time since I identified as just a barber. I'm really just an artist. Barber is just a tonsorial artist, but realistically, not everybody identifies as a creative or an artist specifically, but we all are artists. Well, like when I was in engineering is the art of problem solving. You know what I'm saying? People don't think of it as super creative because you're not seeing painting with colors and playing with music and stuff, but it's an application of creativity. Anything that taps into your ability of seeing something that isn't directly in front of you is creativity. Anything that humans do for long enough becomes an art. I done seen people with like menial labor jobs where they just is literally moving this thing from here. After weeks and months of doing it, they do it with a crazy level of finesse. They're expressing their creativity in that way. Same thing with just talking to people. Language arts, you know what I'm saying? Macking with a girl or a guy, you know what I'm saying? That takes creativity. Throwing a fit on takes creativity. Your spirit leaks through anything that is creative. People can catch a vibe off of you, off of how you do things and how you present yourself. But people that don't believe in themselves will not believe in you. So it's not worth proving your value to somebody. Oh, I'm more than X, I'm more than Y. If you know, there's no explaining that needs to be done. And if you don't believe that for yourself, then explore. Just explore the parameters of what you identify as. I was in school for chemical engineering. I didn't consider myself creative. The whole time looking back now, I had a bunch of creative passions that were bubbling under the surface, but I put a lid on it and I'm like, oh, I'm an engineer. That's it. Try to push it all down. But your creativity is not something you can really suppress. If you push it, put down in one area, it's gonna come out in another area. Like when I started cutting hair for real, I got sparked with the art of hair cutting. You know what I mean? And then after I kind of got the gist with hair cutting, not saying that I was that good, but I got the gist, I was more curious about the art of building relationships, which is barbering. There's many different levels to this shit. Now I'm falling in love with the art of learning, which I consider teaching. For real, most of it, all this shit was in me since way back, but I limited my sight of myself by looking through a very specific lens. Don't get so caught up in the lens that you're looking through, because our lenses change and there's infinite lenses. We stack lenses on top of each other. It's a remix stuff. Sometimes we're putting lenses on, sometimes we're taking lenses off. This is something that is constantly in flux. It's not a static thing. All right, but that's all I got for today. I appreciate y'all watching. If you're interested in any consultations, link in the bio. My Patreon for College of Better Barbering there too. If you got any value from this video, like and subscribe, all that stuff. Till next time, crap over clout, I'm out.